You don't know her anymore. She's not the same girl you used to adore. Used to run the street chasing what faces. Now she's found peace in the past she prays. We used to bond over pain, over heartbreaks and liquor stains. Talked about love but lived in lust. Two broken souls that lost their trust. We laughed at sin, thought it was fun, but all that pleasure came undone. Now I walk with purpose, not the crowd. The silence is holy, the truth is louder. Oh no, don't know her anymore. She don't move how she did before.
All praises to the Most High Yahuwah, who has woken us up today, has given us life, has given us breath, and given us brand new grace and mercies. Shout out to all the faithful listeners. I had one person reach out to me, said that my story had touched her, so all praises to the Most High. I don't seek any glory for myself, but I seek to edify and lift up the Most High. His word says that if he is lifted up, he will draw all men unto him. And so that's my plan and that's my purpose, that people will be drawn to the Most High and not to me. I am just a servant and I am here to tell my testimony because I got plenty stories. The word says in Revelation 12:11 that I cling and I hold on to, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. And I love not my life today. I don't. It is what it is. I love the Most High and I live for him, and I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful for him delivering me. And today I came to share, it's been a long time coming. And I came to share how the Most High delivered me from drug addiction, how it was a struggle. Now, y'all, it's hard for me to stay in line when telling the story. So I just pray and ask that Yahuwah, that through your son Yahusha, you will lead me and guide me into telling my testimony, that others will be healed and delivered and that they will be set on fire, and know that only healing is in you. Wholeness is only obtained in you. And I know that you're able to do it and to bring it to pass if it's your purpose and if it's your will. I don't even know where to start, but I'll just start in saying that I'm originally from Chicago. I'm sure I've said that before in one of my stories. But being from my family on my father's side, all of them are from Chicago, but originally from Louisiana. So the reason why I start with my father's side is because on my father's side, they had something that was called the Campbell curse. And the Campbell curse was drug addiction. All my uncles and aunts were at one time in their lives addicted to drugs. I don't think any of them are using anymore. My father, he had stopped using it. He was the one that had told me about the Campbell curse. I heard little bits and pieces of it, but he actually sat me down and told me, he rebuked it. He said it's not true. Although everybody had used drugs, but he was doing what he was supposed to do, mind it up. And so he told me that there's no such thing as a camel curse. And I think I had already started, yes, I had already started in addiction. I had my ups and downs. So it being a curse, it was a generational curse on my father's side. And so it being a generational curse on my father's side, the things that I dealt with in my life, those strongholds that I had, were things that gave way to drug addiction. Something evil like that and demonic like that has to have something to attach itself onto. So the beginning was, first one, you have all these different components. And one of the components was the curse. It was the generational curse on my father's side. Y'all excuse me because I'm drinking coffee while I'm telling this story. And so one of the components was on my father's side, the curse. All my aunts and uncles, like I said, they did drugs, had strong addiction. And I think all of them, I think it was crack cocaine, if I'm not mistaken. I know for my father, that was his drug of choice. I remember when I was younger, my father, he was using drugs. And I remember one time in the living room, as children, you see everything. And I try to keep that in mind. Children, they pick up on everything. They like sponges. So he had a bunch of drugs on the table, a pile of drugs, and it was brown. It looked like baking soda, but it was brown. It was drugs, and he would have marijuana, and back then it was in the brown envelopes. He would have that laying around, joints and stuff laying around, and neither one of my parents smoked cigarettes. But here I am in that young age. I remember one time I had gathered up all the kids in the neighborhood. And I don't know where I got this from. I can't say it was because of the drugs that I saw, but we got the leaves off the curb. It's crazy. Yes, it is. We got the leaves off the curb, and we called ourselves. I told them we gonna make some joints. So we got the little crush. Leaves get crunchy, and you ball them up, and it can resemble marijuana. So we was gonna make us some joints and stuff. So imagine, I never saw my father roll joints or anything. I saw um, like roaches and stuff like that, and I saw the brown envelopes because that's what they came back then. So that was the curse right there. So fast forward, around the time, like I said, it was so many different components that had to do with the drug addiction. So I don't believe that people just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to try some drugs. There's things that come with that. And so there were some things inside of me that made it inevitable that I would eventually go on and use drugs outside of the generational curse that was on my father's side, dealing with low self-esteem, um, not completely being what is it, not completely being confirmed by my father, not completely getting my identity, confirmed by my father. So for a long time, I didn't know who I was for years. I just not loving myself, measuring myself to those around me, looking at them and comparing myself instead of comparing myself to my mom and the strength that she exuded from her hard work and her resilience. We compare ourselves to our peers, and I didn't measure up in my own eyes. I didn't like my name. It was so many things, and it was the enemy. But even in that darkness that was being formed inside of me, there was a light. Because I remember we didn't go to church when we were younger. I don't remember my mother ever taking us to church, but I remember having conversations with the Most High. I remember having long conversations, just talking to Him. Vividly. I didn't know Him, but I knew that there at that time, I called Him God. I didn't know His name, but I knew that there was a God. I knew it was, and we would talk. We would talk. It's just amazing. But the enemy had a plan, just like the Most High had a plan. And His plan, the Most High, He brought His plan to pass. But the enemy, he had his chance, but he did not win. He's a loser, point blank, period. So I give praises to the Most High for revealing Himself to me when I was younger. But that would eventually be snuffed out by the things of the world. So fast forward now, mind you, there was some things in my family that took place that also added to me eventually using drugs. So you have all these different components. You have the curses. You have sexual trauma. You have low self-esteem, not loving myself, no sense of purpose, no sense of identity. So all those pieces of darkness, it gave the curse, the darkness, something to latch on to. It gave that thing to, it would eventually come and visit me. I was set up for failure. I was set up for failure, not on purpose, not on purpose. It wasn't the Most High's purpose, but it was. I don't know want to say that it was part of his will. It wasn't his perfect will for me, but those things, all those components, pressed me into his presence, into knowing him. And he did call me before the foundations of the earth, but I had to go through some things, is what I'm trying to say. So fast forward, I remember I got into selling drugs as I got older. Did try marijuana, did use marijuana in my teens. We would buy liquor, send somebody in the store buy us liquor. Everybody started off with um, Red Hours Rose. I can't think of the other one, and Cisco, Mad Dog, and and marijuana. So excuse me. So I chased it. I chased those things, and I even went to rehab for marijuana. It wasn't gonna help. I was young. I didn't see a problem with using marijuana, but it is a gateway drug, especially for somebody like me. Now, like I said, I was being set up for failure, and so eventually I would graduate and move on to the next drug. Now, everybody don't move on to the next drug. But the way my life was set up, I was gonna move on. But I remember one time when I was out selling drugs. Not one time, but it was a couple times when I would be out selling drugs and selling crack cocaine. And I never shared my thoughts with anybody, but I was always curious in why people would come back, why people would spend all their money on a drug. And being over a friend's house, they had addicts in their family. And the addicts, I remember they would go in the room and they would be quiet. They would be in there getting high, and I would always wonder what they doing in the room. Why is it so quiet? Because I know they had to use a lighter. I wouldn't even hear a lighter being struck in the room. So I would always wonder what was going on in that room, not knowing that eventually I would be in that room and it would be very difficult for me to get out of that room. So in the midst of me having that curiosity, I didn't know that that was the curse, and that was the enemy planting seeds of curiosity inside of me. So all these different components, it was gonna happen. So I would eventually move out of state. And when I got to out of state, I had no responsibility. I had no accountability. It was just me, to my own devices. There was nobody around me that would judge me for the bad choices that I made. So I eventually would dib and dab with powder cocaine. And so when I did the powder cocaine, it was like something had woke up inside of me. It was like the feeling that I was always looking for, because marijuana is a downer. Marijuana, eventually you would go to sleep, but with powder, with cocaine, it's an upper. So, if I could be blunt, it's like something had woke up inside of me. If I put myself right back in that space, which I like to do to recall the feeling and be able to be related to the listener, in that moment, it felt like something inside of me had woke up. It was like this was what I was always looking for. Like, this the high right here. This it. And so I believe in that moment I had become addicted. It was a feeling that I wanted to repeat over and over again. And just as a side note, that's how we should chase after the presence of the Most High. Something that we should seek all the time, just because there's so much peace and joy in His presence. So we should chase after it, like the word says, and the deer panteth after the water brook, so our soul should pant after the Most High. We should pant after Him, long for Him, just our whole being. Just throw your whole being in Him, and that's just a side note. So I began to chase after, and in that short time, it, in that short time, maybe within a span of a few weeks, it's like my life had spiraled out of control. Now being in this other state in Atlanta, in this community, being young, the guys, uh, they would they would come around and they would feed me the drugs. So it was crazy because I mean just be be up for days just using drugs to the point to where I smoked cigarettes back then with my and I would smoke cigarettes back to back, drinking to the point to where I would have tremors, just shaking from the drug. And there's no happy ending when it comes to drugs. There's no happy ending. So I went through a lot of stuff in drug addiction. It was like a up and down and up and down. And even in it, I knew it's such a facade in drug addiction. It's such a facade because when you have it, it's like you're on this high. And when you don't have it, it's a depressing low to where you in tears. You don't want to be sober because you don't want to be down and not high, because when you're down and not high, there's an opportunity for you to fall back and look at everything. And so to stay high, you avoid that stuff. You avoid the reality of the darkness that is around you. And there's a lot of darkness. It is a lot of darkness in drug addiction. There's no happiness. It's a pretense, and I thank Yahuwah. I praise him so much for delivering me. But even in that, I struggled. I struggled on and off, on and off, on and off, and even serving in church. So I would go to prison because of drugs. And I used to have an attitude too, because I used to be, man, like, why come I didn't use, like, it was older addicts around me. They never went to jail. They probably was the police, but anyway, they never went to jail. But it seemed like every time I picked up, I went to jail. But I didn't know that was the mercies of Elohim. That was his mercy, and that was his grace. So eventually, I would get off of drugs. In prison, well, I ain't gonna say I got off of drugs, but in prison is when I really had some clarity. I think I told a story about going to prison, but I really had some clarity, and I really cried out to the Most High. And it wasn't. I wanted to be off of drugs. It, it's like because I wasn't around it, and I had that sense of clarity during that time. So it was like in my mind, I was delivered. When I would pray and seek, when I was seeking his face, I just wanted I wanted to be, I wanted peace. And I put it like that. I wanted peace. And I hated the things that I had been through because of the drug addiction. So, but it was in a case. Now, I didn't get healed during that time, but it was a case like most people do when they go to jail. It's out of sight, out of mind. So, because you don't have access to it and you don't see it, you think that you delivered. But I had never allowed the Most High to deal with the things that had led up to it. I didn't address the generational curse because I didn't really understand. I didn't know at that time that, it was a generational curse because my father didn't tell me until later. I didn't know that I had to deal with my root issues. And I never even wanted to touch my root issues because to me they were so extensive and so painful that I stayed surface. And like I like to say, I didn't become one with with the Most High. I didn't become one with the word, like allowing the word to penetrate me in a way. What I did is I hid behind it. It became my shield. And that's a good thing to do, but it wasn't good for me in that case because um, I needed to be healed. I needed to have the word to pull up those roots inside of me. So it was like the word was lingering around at the surface, and I didn't allow it to penetrate my innermost being. So even though I had a hunger and a thirst for him, he knew me and I knew him, I was very, very religious. I didn't have anybody to teach me. I just went by the word. I just went by the word. I prayed, I fasted, I walked with him. I did all the things that I was supposed to do except allow him to heal me. And so eventually that would lead me right back to drugs. And I remember one time I had asked the pastors um, that why didn't the Most High just heal me? Why didn't He just take that desire away from me? So today I have understanding. I can answer that question today, and which I eventually will. But when I got out of prison, I went right back to drugs. The same old issues, wanting attention, wanting to be loved, wanting to be liked, wanting to fit in, the spirit of rejection, offense, not being able to sit in silence, just saying whatever comes to mind, promiscuous, well, I ain't gonna say promiscuous because I wasn't at that time, but uh, I think I had grew out of that, gained some a type of understanding. But it was just the fact that I wanted to be loved by a man, and I went about it all the wrong ways. What I should have did is allowed the Most High to heal me, and which I did not do. And so the first time a man gave me some attention, that was all she wrote. I laid the Bible down, laid the word down, because it wasn't real to the point that I had become an actual new creation in Him, and to where I was able to fight off the all the wiles of the enemy. I wasn't at that place at that time, and so eventually it happened. And so I just would continue on the hamster's wheel, on the hamster's wheel, on the hamster's wheel. In the depths of darkness that I experienced on drug addiction, I wouldn't wish that on no woman. I wouldn't wish that on no woman. That's why I'm so vocal about my testimony on how he delivered me, you know, because the things that he brought me through. I supposed to be dead. I mean, being drugged out of a vehicle, abandoning my children, using drugs while pregnant and things of that nature. I never would have thought that that was something that I would go through. I never thought, and I wouldn't say that it hurts, but I do tear up because just the depths of darkness, of hurt and pain. It's I never thought that that would be me. I never thought that that would be me. Because I had goals, I had things that I wanted to do in life. I didn't know how to bring those things to pass. I wasn't even working towards trying to bring those things to pass. But, you know, just I'm so blessed. I am extremely blessed because a lot of people don't make it out. And y'all know what the blessing also in that is that I do not look like what I've been through. I don't have all these scars all over my body, my teeth missing, hair won't grow, and just because I meet people, I know people that I know right away. Maybe it's discernment, but I know right away they on drugs or they been on drugs because they still carry the residue of it. But I think when I was out there, I think the Most High had preserved me in it. He had preserved me because even when I was on drugs, I didn't look like I was on drugs. Only beside the times when I would lose a lot of weight, being small. But other than that, the Most High, He preserved me in that madness and in that darkness. And I thank Him for it because now I carry the testimony and I'm able to tell people, because look at me. If He can do it for me, He can do it for anybody. I'm not special. I'm not above anybody else. His power and His deliverance reaches far wide and far great. There's nothing too hard for Him. He can do it. Even outside, it don't have to be addiction or anything, but He is able to do all things. So, excuse me, I would envision just keep going in and out, in and out, in and out. Uh, and the pastor had told me that maybe, this is something that I'm just going to have to struggle with. And I did. I struggled for years. Excuse me. I did. I struggled for years on drugs. And but like I said in the beginning, I hate to say my drug addiction, but the drug addiction was attached to the hurt and the pain inside of me. So that's where I had to begin. I had to go all the way down to the root. I had to pull up the root. And listen, let me tell you something. Dealing with those strongholds and those things that came in childhood, and that's way, way back then, that's the hard part. Putting down the drug is the easy part. But in the end, I didn't want to lose my family. I didn't want to lose those things. I didn't want to go through what I had already been through. I didn't want to do this again. But when I put down the drug, I'm still left in those strongholds. So now with those strongholds, even though I'm not using drugs, I'm doing something else to try to avoid the pain and the hurt and the strongholds inside of me. I'm looking for something else. So now I'm serving in church. I'm being extra in other areas. It's still showing up in my life. So it's still a pulling, a fight, for that peace and for that wholeness and for those things inside of me that make me uncomfortable, that I know that's not right. It's still a struggle in that. So that's where I had to start. And it was hard. I tell people it's very hard to, if you've been doing something for over 45 years, you've been doing a certain thing, letting just anything fly out your mouth or being uncomfortable, worried about what people think about you. If you've been that way for a long time, you have to put in some work. You have to put in some work. And it was very hard for me because when he first started to heal me, this was back in, I think 2020. When he first started to heal me on his journey, uh, and that's around the time that he started to rattle my bones and wake me up. But first came the healing part. It was hard. I'm telling y'all, it was hard because what I had to start doing, what he showed me is what I had to do was the opposite. I had to do the opposite of what I was used to doing. Everything that people say don't always garner a response. Don't always mean I have to have a comeback. So I had to do the opposite, instead of having something to say, don't have something to say. Now it took me some years to get to that place, and I'm not quite there, but he's working. It's easier now. Should I say? I'm still maturing. I am at a place of maturity, but I'm still being matured though. So I had to do the opposite of what I was used to doing. You know, I can't fix up the house. If I don't love myself, it's gonna show. It's gonna show. And people around me knew, so I had to come to a place to where I had to learn to love myself and accept myself for who I am and know that the Most High loved me. And He saw something inside of me, he not even that inside of me, but he loved me because I'm his creation. He loved me in spite of what I thought. He loved me. That's the essence of who he is. Um, he do deal with his children and things of that nature, but I had to stop seeing myself. No, I had to stop uh, taking the way I view myself as if that's the way that the Most High viewed me. So I was looking at myself and saying, "Well, this how he feel about me." And that's not right. And to me, that's disobedience and that's evil to do that, because now I'm bringing him down to my level. And he isn't, the Most High is not like man. He's far above. He sits high and he looks down low. So that's one of the things that I had to stop doing. That it helped me to be healed and delivered from drugs. I had to, and having my daughter, that played a major role too, because I remember people would say that, I view my daughter the way I saw the old me, and I'm so grateful that he had people around me that would tell me these things, even though they weren't keeping no commandments or anything, but still, it was something that was applicable. And so I had to apply that, and that was part of my healing, you know. And that let me know that I still wasn't at a place where he wanted me to be. So I've changed that. And so I also had to change what was another big thing is being uncomfortable in I was uncomfortable in silence. Now I'm telling y'all all these things because all these things are what that I needed to be healed from. These are things that made up the the need to use drugs, that made up drug use. These are roots that needed to be pulled up. So even though the drugs wasn't present, the roots of what led to the drug use, those things needed to be pulled up. Or I was gonna continue to struggle. I wasn't gonna be fully at peace. So that was another thing that I had to work on. I had to work on being comfortable in silence. And that was hard for me. That was hard for me. And people may find it weird, but we all different. We all different. You have all these people in the world. Everybody deal with something else, So here it is. I struggled with being silent when everybody else was silent because I was so insecure. I was so insecure, and nobody would know it because I put up this facade. I presented a face because I'm funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a jokester. My whole family we funny, but that could be excuse me. That could be unhealthy. That could be unhealthy. Just making jokes and stuff all the time. I love to make my husband laugh. I love to make him laugh. But doing that all the time is unhealthy and it can be a defense mechanism. And for me, I think there was like a guard for me. So I had to stop all of that. I don't have to do all that. I don't have to make jokes and stuff for people are like me. That I don't have to put that up as telling jokes. Look like me. I'm cool and stuff. So I don't have to do that anymore. I stand firm, and even in my big old age, I was dealing. And we see it online. We see how, the sisters carry on and stuff, still dealing with that stuff. It's like being in your 60s with a wayward way of thinking, you know. So that was another thing, another root that had to be pulled up um, from it, from, my innermost being. And another one was not believing in that he was able to do it. I hoped I seen his word, but I know that he is able to heal, you know. Um, Another one was not confessing. I had to confess. eh, you know what that come from? That come from being prideful. So I had to put down pride. We can go before the Most High and very well be prideful. So I had to set pride aside and see that inside of me, there's nothing inside of me other than surrender and the will to want to be obedient. That's the only thing inside of me that that I can do to help me along the way. That's it. There's nothing else inside of me. He gives us the power and the tools to beat the enemy, which is the word. I know the word enough of the word to be able to come against the wiles of the enemy, but I have to humble myself. I had to humble myself. You can know that word and still be walking in pride. So I had to humble myself and know that all my strength comes from the Most High, and I'm not able to do anything unless I'm fully fledged, totally, wholeheartedly committed and dependent on Him. And so when I started to come to these realizations, I started to see change in my life. And sometimes the enemy, he'll try to rear his head back in my life, but I recognize it and I pull it down. So some more things that I dealt with my past. That was in my past. 'Cause I know at one time, this was before 2020, and so I know that I was not totally over, like my past had me in bondage. My oldest daughter, she wanted to talk about drug addiction. She just the drug addiction that I dealt with. So she had a whole lot of questions. And I started getting frustrated. I was getting angry because I was still dealing with it. I was still hurt on it, over it. I was still ashamed of it. So I remember that I would get upset. I didn't get irritated because I still saw myself as that person in the past. This before when he started putting his finger on some things and started healing me. And so now, fast forward to so many years later, I open myself up to those questions, anything she want to know, because I am not my past. I'm not attached to it, and I don't allow it to keep me in bondage. I see the power of the Most High in my past. I see what He has. I see Him all over it. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, because it's the power of the Most High. It's His power, and so I walk in it. So it was those things that made up, the those roots that caused me to continue to stay on the hamster's wheel. Now looking back, it was so simple. It was so simple. Um, you have to deal with the root. And so as the Most High, as He began to heal me, He began to heal me. Another issue that I had was not being able to talk about it. When I did have urges, I would keep it to myself. Now I don't have those urges anymore, and I'm telling you why. But before I came into this truth that I'm in, I would be tempted, you know, because I won't say tempted. Let me see. I, I don't want to say. I'm gonna say tempted. I would say tempted because I was still on my journey. But when I was tempted or felt overwhelmed with the like I was gonna use, I wouldn't tell anybody. I just keep it to myself, and I just meditate on it and fight against it and try to resist it. But I stopped doing it. I started talking to people. I would tell people. Now this before I was waking or fully awakened. But I was going through on my journey. I would tell people, because somebody told me, pastor had told me, she said that the reason why what my problem was, and that goes back to being prideful, is I wouldn't tell anybody. I wouldn't tell anybody because I would feel shame. I would think that they would think Look, I'm worried about what somebody think. Yes, I would think that they would think that, oh, she an addict. She want to use. I just didn't want the shame, the the uh, the look that came with it. So I wouldn't say anything. But I say something. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to say something and I would expose it. I would shine the light on the plans of the enemy. That's what I would do. And so I don't deal with that no more. And so fast forward now, the biggest thing is that I have committed to keeping the Most High's commandments. Yes. And it dawned on me, I'm just riding one day. I'm like, man, the more that I learn about his word, the more that understanding I get since I've been awakened, I don't even think about drugs no more. It's like it's just it's like it been pushed out. You know what my main concern is? My main concern is pleasing him to the point to where that's all I think about. I want to please him. So drugs is a non-factor to me now. That's a small thing. I'm trying to keep his word. I mean, so much to where I want to be wrapped up in it. I want it just overflowing in my heart and stuff. So the drug use and temptation, or that old thing that comes back to me, just silly stuff like, you can just get one, it ain't gonna hurt you. Just goofy, that goofy stuff. It don't happen no more. Because now all the roots have been pulled up and they have been dealt with. There's nothing left in me. Now the enemy, now I know what. Now I'm not comparing myself to Yahusha. I'm just saying. Because he said that the enemy comes and he can't find nothing in him because he was perfect. There's nothing in him. The enemy couldn't find nothing in him. There's no darkness. There was nothing in him. So I'm not saying that for me, but I'm saying when it comes to drugs, now there's nothing in me that the enemy can take and use. He can't weaponize any of those hurts, those my past. He can't use it against me. Nothing. There's nothing in me that he can use to try to get me out there to use drugs. Nothing. It's over with. It's over for the enemy. And so that's how I was able uh to be delivered. I fully and totally committed my ways unto him. I gave him every piece of me and I submitted to his word wholly and completely. Now there's some things I'm still growing, but I have allowed him to pull up. I allowed his ruach, his spirit to put his finger on all the roots inside of me, So now when I look at my daughter, I don't see my old self. I'm not bogged down. Excuse me, I'm not bogged down with uh, uh, being suspicious or and things of that nature. It's so many areas that he just had to put his finger on, and nobody can use my past against me. I'm sorry, you can't do it. You're not gonna use my past against me. You can say what you want to say, cause I am delivered. I'm the post child, baby. I'm the post child of what the Most High can do in the life of a broken woman. Cause I was broken. When I tell you I was tore up, but I thank Him. But it came from This is the recipe. If you struggle, let him put his finger on those roots. Let him put his finger. Let him confess. Confess to him and let him show you what are the things that hinder you. And it don't just have to be when it comes to addiction. It can be in our marriage. And that's the next one I'm going to tell y'all, because I had no business at nobody altar as jacked up as I was. I had no business. I should have been a guest. Well, all praises to the Most High for His faithfulness, and because for me, marriage was on the job training, straight up and down. But just allow Him. It don't have to be that. Even when it comes to sexual abuse, because I know a lot of women that have been sexually abused, and he can heal you. I mean, he can do it. He can heal you. You forgive. You have to forgive. You have to get forgive, because the word says that if you don't forgive those who hurt us or whatever, did harm against us, if you have to forgive for him to forgive you. It work both ways. It just ain't. I know sometimes we want to wish death on people, kill them, let them lose a limb, but you have to forgive. You have to forgive those that hurt you. Your heart has to be right, in the right place. You have to forgive when it comes to those type of things, and allow him to put his finger on it. Talk about it. Talk about it to him in secret, and then talk about it with somebody that's spiritually sound and stable and mature. Talk to somebody about it. Shine the glorious light of Yahuwah, bless his name, on that darkness, on that pain. It could be abandonment issues, not growing up with your father, or being hurt in a relationship or a marriage. He's able to do it. He can heal you. He can deal with those roots. It's a healthy way to get moved past things, and it's an unhealthy way to move past things. And for years, I did it in an unhealthy way, and it produced bad fruits because I just stayed on the hamster wheel over and over, using drugs, over and over, using drugs. And I just got tired. I just got tired. We got a whole, the word, the Bible is the answer. We got all these, answers and remedies it's found in His word. It's found in His word. He can do it. There's nothing too hard for Him, but you have to open up yourself to Him and let Him heal you and cleanse you. And you have to take hold to His entire word, from Genesis to Revelation. The law ain't done away with. Don't let people tell you that if you got a problem with that, you don't want to hear no more, click off. I don't care. But that's part of my freedom, my deliverance. When I walked in the whole truth, I walk in the whole truth. I'm not separating, saying this part done away with, this part right here. I accept the whole of the word, the whole of the word, and I address Him as His name. He is the Most High. He's our Father. His name is Yahuwah. He has a name. His name is not, we don't call Him by a title, God. People don't call me the Crystal. No. And that's how and that's part of my healing. I embrace His whole word from cover to cover. Even the parts that they took out. So my joy today is full. I am full in Him. I'm so happy. And I continue to chase after Him and long for Him. I'm so thankful for what He's doing. I don't let people hold me hostage to my past. It's the past. Now I use it as a stepping stone. I stand and I proclaim the goodness and the greatness of the Most High. He can do all things. There's nothing too hard for Him. If He delivered me, He can deliver you. He can do it for anybody. Trust Him. Commit your ways unto Him. Let Him establish you in His word. Stand steadfast in His word. Flat-footed, 10 toes down in the word of the Most High. Because He can do it. He can do all things. And I give praise and I give honor to Him. I'm so grateful today, because you are really looking at, listening to a testimony, a powerful testimony. I have so many other stories of the healing and delivering power. I remember one time when I was had to go to court while I was in prison, and the lawyer and another guy came back there to me, and they was asking me about my drug addiction and stuff like that. And it was the older white guy, And there was a younger one. And you know what that white man had said to me, the older one? I can't believe he said this. He looked at me dead in my face and said, once a crackhead, always a crackhead, and started laughing. He was mocking me. He mocked me right to my face. And I was taken back, and I said, you stand back and you see the salvation of the Lord. I was saying Lord right there, but I said, you stand back and you see the salvation of the Lord. That's the only thing that I could think of. It just came up suddenly. And yes, he saw it that day because the judge put him to shame. But his words, him saying that, it bothered me a little bit. 'Cause I couldn't believe he had said that. He had said that he tried to put a curse on me, but the devil is a liar. And Yah's word is the truth, and it is forever established in the heavens. He said that his word has he placed above his name. So that's how powerful his word is. His word is everlasting. He established the end from the beginning. So we know that Torah is not done away with because it's been established. It's established. It is not done. It's not passed away. Uh, it's us. It's us. So I hope this has been a blessing to somebody. I hope somebody that listening know that, sis, you can make it. Or if it's a brother, you can make it. Let him deal with those roots. You have to go to the root. You got to pull up the roots. You got to go deep. You got to go deep. Got to tear down them strongholds. What Paul said, that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yah, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down every imagination and a high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yah, and bringing into captivity those things unto the obedience of Yahusha. And then when it's fulfilled, when you did all of that, you got to be ready to avenge it. You got to be ready to avenge it. You got to be ready to fight it back, against the wicked one and his schemes, you know. So his word pulls down stronghold. It demolishes it, knocks it down. But it's a fight. Don't get it twisted. You have to fast. If you have to pray, you have to seek his face. Isolate, get alone, and spend time with him. He'll show you. He'll put his finger on those things, and he'll pull those things up by the root. He's able. So I'll just say, bless you. Be encouraged. And the next time that I come on, I will be talking about my OJT, on the job training in marriage. Because, like I said, I had no business being at anybody altars. Can you imagine all that stuff I was dealing with, and I'm coming to marry somebody? Like I said, I ain't have no business at nobody altar. I should have been a guest. But praise y'all for his healing power, and y'all be blessed and stay encouraged and be strengthened. And now unto him who is able to keep us from falling and to present us blameless in the presence of his joy, in the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. All praises to the Most High Yahweh.
I'm walking right, just never going back the same. Every scar I carry got a story of his grace. Every tear I cry, wash the sin from my face. Now I keep the Sabbath, I keep his name. He took my shame, now I walk unashamed. I had to lose myself to find his plan. Had a break before I could stand.